Hello and welcome to Learn with Hema's class. My dear students, in this video we shall do the question and answers from the Evergreen Workbook of the Elevator ICSE Class 10 from the Treasure Chest book. My dear students, I have already uploaded question and answers of with the photographer and also Julius Caesar Act 3 Scene 1, Act 3 Scene 2. So going ahead with this, for multiple choice questions, I'll come up with a separate video. And these question and answers are from the revised edition of Evergreen Workbook. The old edition which the students were using last year might have some changes in the questions, but more or less they are same. So before going ahead, one small request, my dear students, that if you are not a subscriber to my channel, please do subscribe my channel and support me to reach till 100k subscribers. So quickly we'll go ahead. It's the passage 1. Of course, he was always uncomfortable in the elevators, afraid that they would fall, but this one was especially unpleasant. Perhaps this was because of the poor lighting and the dirty walls. So this is the passage. First question. Describe the apartment to which Martin and his father had shifted recently. Answer. The apartment to which Martin and his father recently shifted was an old building with an elevator. The walls of the apartment were dirty and the lighting there was quite poor. Question number 2. What made the boy uncomfortable in the elevator? Answer. Martin felt uncomfortable in the elevator as the door would never stay open for long. It produced a strange noise and slammed shut quite often. The elevator shuddered each time it left a floor. He feared that the elevator would fall. Third question. What kind of a boy was Martin? Martin was a thin 12-year-old boy. He was also uncomfortable in elevators. What are we told about the door of the elevator? The door of the elevator did not remain open for long. It produced a clanging noise and would slam shut. How does the description of the elevator contribute to the suspense in the story? Answer. The apartment does not have proper lighting and its walls are dirty. It looks mysterious and strange. The elevator with a creaking door makes the things more fearful. Its description adds to the atmosphere of suspense already prevailing there. Now this is the second passage. You are not only skinny and weak and bad at sports, his face seemed to say, but you are also a coward. After that, Martin always took the elevator. He would have to get used to it, he told himself, just as he got used to being bullied at school. First question. Earlier, why did father get upset with Martin? What did he want his son to become? Answer. Martin's father did not like his son's fear of the elevators. When Martin did not take the elevator to go upstairs, his father was upset with him. He wanted his son to be brave and bold. Second question. What kind of a boy was Martin? Martin was a nervous boy. He had fears of elevators, but gradually he learns to face his fears boldly. What did Martin have to come to terms with? Martin had to come to terms with his fear of the elevator. He learned to do this as he had done in case of being bullied at school. Fourth question. Why did Martin take the elevator although he was scared of it? Martin's father admonished him for not taking the elevator and using the stairs. It forced him to take the elevator despite his fears of the elevator. Was Martin a coward? Give 2 reasons for your answer. Martin was afraid of taking the elevator like a coward. He started taking the stairs to avoid the lady and broke his leg. He also tried to run away from the elevator out of the fear of the lady. These 2 instances show that he was a coward. Passage 3. She was wearing an old green coat that ballooned around her. As she meddled into the elevator, Martin was sure he felt it sink under her weight. She was so big that her coat brushed against him and he had to squeeze himself into a corner. This is your third passage. Let's go to the question and answers. First question. What kind of lady was she? Did Martin like her? The lady was quite fat. She wore a green coat that spread around her like a balloon. She looked strange and mysterious as she constantly gazed at Martin. Second question. What is Martin's tone while describing the lady's stature? Martin's tone while describing the lady is full of wonder and surprise. What was Martin's state of mind when he confronted the lady? When Martin confronted the lady for the first time, he was sure he felt it sink under her weight. It was a trauma for him as the lady constantly stared at him. On which floor did the lady step into the elevator? On which floor did she actually live? The lady stepped into the elevator on the 14th floor. There is no clear indication about the women living in that apartment. How did the lady look at the boy in the elevator? The lady continuously stared at Martin in a strange and threatening way. Her eyes seemed to be boring through Martin's face. Now this is the fourth passage. She did nothing. She only watched him breathing loudly until the elevator reached the first floor at last. Martin wanted to run past her to get out, but there was no room. He could only wait as she turned and moved slowly into the lobby. Then he ran. He didn't care what she thought. He ran nearly all the way to school. Now question 1. What was the lady's behavior while in the elevator with the boy? The lady in the elevator behaved in a strange way. She watched Martin breathing loudly out of his fears and nervousness. She just turned and moved into the lobby. Why couldn't Martin run past the lady? Martin was afraid of the strange lady in the elevator. He wanted to run out of the elevator, but the lady was so big that there was no room for him to slip out of the elevator. What was the boy's impression of the lady in the elevator? The boy was afraid of the lady in the elevator. He thought that the lady was someone mysterious and strange. He got so afraid of her that he broke his leg when he took the stairs in order to avoid facing the lady in the elevator. Where did the lady live? Did Martin know this? The lady, it is hinted at the end of the story, perhaps lived on the 9th floor. Martin did not know this. What time of the day was it then? How do you know? It was morning at that time. Martin's going to school indicates the time of the day. This is the 5th passage. She nodded and stepped in. The door slammed. He watched her pudgy hand move towards the buttons. She pressed not 14 but 18, the top floor. First question. To which question of the boy did the lady nod? Answer. Martin asked the lady if she was going up. The lady nodded in response to this question. What did the woman look like? The lady was very fat. She had pudgy hands and her balloon-like green coat made her look still bigger and strange. What is surprising in the lady's pressing the button 18? The lady had got into the elevator on the 14th floor and the previous day. Her pressing the button 18 was therefore something strange and surprising to Martin. Fourth question. Which floor do you think did the lady live on? Answer. The lady seems to live on the 14th floor. She had got into the elevator at this floor for the first time. What makes the boy feel nervous in the elevator? What does it indicate about the boy? Answer. The boy has a natural fear of the elevator. He always fears that the elevator would fall down. It made him uncomfortable and nervous. This nervousness of the boy indicates that he was a coward boy. Sixth passage. I am not afraid. You are afraid, said his father. When you are going to grow up and act like a man, are you going to be timid all your life? Question 1. Why does the boy retort, I am not afraid? Martin's father expresses his frustration over the boy's fears. He is annoyed that Martin feels afraid of a big woman in the elevator. Martin then retorts, telling his father that he was not afraid. What was the boy's father trying to emphasize? The boy's father was trying to emphasize that the boy should learn to overcome his fears. He should not behave in a cowardly manner. How did Martin react to his father's rebuke? Martin went to his room and cried. He was crying because his father had rebuked him, but he did not cry in front of his father and wept in isolation of his room. What does the extract tell about the relationship between the son and the father? The extract reveals that the father and the son have strained relationship due to the boy's fears of elevator. The father wants the son to be bold and courageous, whereas the boy is full of fear. Later, what happens when the boy tries to avoid the lady? When the boy tries to avoid the lady, he takes the stairs instead of the elevator, but he breaks his leg and has to be taken to a hospital. 7th passage. His father was silent on the way to hospital, disappointed and angry with him for being a coward and a fool. Martin had broken his leg and needed to walk on crutches. Question 1. Why was the boy taken to hospital? The boy had broken his leg while trying to avoid the fat lady in the elevator, so he was taken to the hospital. What did the father feel about the boy's health? The father felt disappointed and angry with the boy. He considered the boy a coward and fool who had got injured because of his own false and unwanted fears. What disability had the boy suffered and how? The boy suffered from a broken leg. He suffered this disability as he had fallen in the stairs while trying to avoid the strange lady in the elevator. How could this disability give some relief to Martin? This disability could bring some relief to Martin as he did not have to use the elevator and have rest at home for a few days. What advice was given to Martin by his doctor? Answer. The doctor advised Martin to have rest and stay in the apartment for a few days. It also meant Martin staying away from the dreadful elevator and the strange fat lady for some days. Last passage, passage number 8. But the door was already closing. Afraid to be in the elevator alone, said the father. Grow up, Martin. The door slammed shut. Question 1. Why did the father not want Martin to visit the neighbor along with him? Martin's father wanted him to face his fears boldly. He wanted to leave the boy alone with the fat lady he dreaded. Keeping these things in mind, he did not want Martin to accompany him to the neighbor. What was the father's advice to Martin? Martin's father advised him to grow up and shun all his fears. On which floor did the woman live? What was her name? The woman whom Martin's father wanted to visit lived on the 9th floor. Her name was Mrs. Ullman. Where did the elevator stop and why? The elevator stopped at the 10th floor. The elevator stopped there as the fat lady had pressed the button of the elevator while standing there and waiting for Martin. What surprise awaited Martin in the elevator? How did the lady treat him there? The fat lady that Martin was afraid of stood there in the elevator. It was a surprise for him. The lady pleasantly greeted him by addressing him by his name, Martin. So thank you so much. This video is over. I'll soon be coming up with the new chapters and new poems, question and answers as well as the explanation. So stay in tune with my channel. Till then, stay safe, stay secure. Thank you.